everything, and everything is a part of us. We are human only through the humanity of others. I am because we are. Ubuntu.
A tale that's told throughout the sands of time. Outside its bonds and of human rights. We're people beneath outside. Through other people we unite as one. A seed is planted and a flower grows. And a small tender kiss, that is how it goes. When a boy meets a girl under starlit skies. And the wedding of all is seen in their eyes.
And thank you for this beautiful song. That was a group of multiple choir. We have and the name is Ubuntu. For those that don't know the meaning, Ubuntu means I am because you are, and it's actually a word in Zulu. And this is actually coming from a phrase that, of course, I'm not from South Africa, so the pronunciation might not be the right one. But the phrase is umuntu gumuntu ngabatu, which literally means that a person is a person through other people. And he roots from an African philosophy that the idea of community is one of the building blocks of society. So that was the beautiful song called Ubuntu. So welcome again for another episode of Drama Zoom Hebdo. Donc, je vous souhaite encore la bienvenue à tous qui nous joignent pour une autre épisode de Drama Zoom Hebdo. Donc, la chanson qui vient de passer, Ubuntu, ça veut dire « je suis parce que je suis ». En anglais, « I am because you are ». Je suis parce que tu es. Et ça vient d'un mot en Zoulou Et c'est toujours un plaisir pour moi de vous avoir sur notre plateforme de Journalism Hebdo. I'm your host. My name is Junela Ondo. I am the Vice President of Drama Consulting and also the General Manager. Donc, mon nom, c'est Junela. Je suis votre présentatrice et je suis aussi la vice-présidente de Drama Consulting. Donc, bienvenue encore. Et n'hésitez pas à toujours vérifier notre contenu sur notre chaîne YouTube. So feel free to also check our other content on our YouTube channel. So today we have the great pleasure to have with us Dr. Uche Nwankwo, that I believe is going to correct me with the pronunciation after I introduce him. But thank you so much for everyone that is joining. Donc aujourd'hui, nous avons le plaisir d'avoir avec nous le Dr. Uche Nwankwo. Et nous allons parler d'un sujet assez intéressant. So we are going to talk about an interesting topic, which is the one that you're seeing on the screen. But before we do go into the topic, I would like at least to tell you a little bit more about Dr. Uche. And as you know, he's a trained agriculture economist. He obtained his PhD in agricultural science degree with specialization in agriculture economics from the University of Humboldt in Berlin in 2010. And he also have postgraduate diploma in project management from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, which is in Nigeria, Imo State. He also have a diploma in public relations, marketing and management from the University of Winnipeg, which is in Manitoba, and a higher education teaching certificate from the University of Winnipeg as well. And there's also other diploma or certificate that he is, but at the moment he's the Manitoba Liberal candidate for Waverley, and he has been serving as the president, secretary, coordinator, program director at various time and location, and he's also promoted several community development projects in collaboration with individual and organization. So we know that Dr. Uche is continue to provide community services, is very involved in the community, and one of the topic that we're seeing today is really around community. And of course, there's a lot to say about Dr. Uche, which is interesting. Donc, pour ceux qui viennent de nous joindre, avant que nous donnons la parole à Dr. Uche, on va quand même connaître un peu de lui. Donc, il est un économiste en agriculture et il a aussi obtenu un doctorat en sciences agriculture avec une spécialisation en agriculture d'économiste à l'université de Humboldt à Berlin en 2010. Et il a aussi des diplômes en project management de l'université de technologie Owerri au Nigeria. Il a aussi un diplôme en relations publiques, marketing en l'université de Winnipeg et aussi un certificat d'éducation de l'université de Winnipeg aussi. Et il est beaucoup impliqué dans la communauté. Il a beaucoup eu à promouvoir des projets de développement des communautés, et c'est quelqu'un qui est beaucoup engagé. Et l'un des sujets que nous allons voir aujourd'hui, ça tourne un peu au plus de la communauté. Donc, sans plus tarder, je vais quand même souhaiter la bienvenue à Monsieur Uche de nous joindre. So without further ado, I would like Mr. Uche to join us and also to help me to make sure that I pronounce the name right. So I would like Mr. Uche to join me right now so that we can dive into the topic.
Thank you so much, Janella. I wouldn't correct you. You pronounce my name absolutely right. And I have had my name pronounced I lived in Germany and other places. So you were perfectly right. Your pronunciation was super. And thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you for that music. It was so wonderful. And you are because I am because you are Ubuntu. And so I want to sincerely express my profound gratitude to Mr. Justin Ondo Asamoah, and who is the president of Drama Consulting. And I want to thank Junella as well, both for that wonderful introduction and giving me a voice in French. Hopefully I'll be able to, to speak one. So I'm deeply, deeply grateful for this unique and great opportunity and privilege to appear on your widely viewed platform, very heavy traffic platform. So I'm very, very grateful. My name is Uche Nwankwo, like you mentioned, and I am one of the initiators and coordinator of the Africains de Winnipeg Sud, a community-based association in Winnipeg Sud, Manitoba, Canada. But before I go into the discussion for today, I just want to quickly recognize and respect the owners of the land that we are in by acknowledging that Africains de Winnipeg Sud Association Incorporated operates on the ancestral territories of the Innu, Anishinaabe, Dene, and Dakota peoples of the Toro Island. This area is situated in the Treaty 1 territory. And so I acknowledge that the indigenous people has not been treated fairly, both in the past and in the present. And so I am dedicated to joining other people of goodwill and courage in advancing partnership with indigenous people and communities in the spirit of reconciliation and truth. Thank you. And I want to appreciate everyone, wherever you're watching from, wherever you're listening from. I say warm greetings to you. So how did we get started about the Africains in Winnipeg Sud? Because there's always something, a starting point. How did we start it? Of course, we know that Canada is a very beautiful country that offers great opportunities and privileges for anyone to fulfill their dreams and aspirations. And the country also operates mainly on representative democracy than the other form of democracy, which is a direct democracy. And that means that not everybody will be in Ottawa or the legislative building to represent the community. So both at the provincial level and also at the city level. So in every year, and every election years, so Canadians have the duty and the responsibility and the privilege also to elect people who will represent them and their interests at the various tiers of government. So this process requires active participation and commitment in several activities to select and at the same time elect the right candidates to represent the interests of the people or the group of people or the riding or the constituency as it is. And it is obvious that in this process, through this process, if the population, if the people make the mistake of selecting and electing the wrong candidates, it can result in negative outcomes. And we have seen such negative outcomes, especially in the introduction and passages of ill-conceived policies, like we have witnessed, especially in the province of Manitoba for some time now. So the 2019 federal election in Winnipeg South was a very close call election. And one of the most, Winnipeg South, as we know, is one of the most culturally diverse riding in the province of Manitoba, with a growing population, growing African population, young people, and highly educated and riding as well. So Winnipeg South also has more vibrant immigrant community, growing immigrant community. The University of Manitoba is situated also in this area. However, Africans are not utilizing their numerical strength and the growing population in this area to get the best from the politicians who are representing the interests. So the reason is that through some of the, though some few individuals, so to say, so some few Africans have been volunteering and getting involved and fundraising with their allies. However, we lack this cohesive unity. We lack this voting bloc to appear as a unit. So those individual contributions and those individual efforts ends up not being translated to community involvement. And so our communities are usually underrepresented and underserved by the people who are representing us, because again, they don't see us as a voting bloc, and they don't see us as coming together to volunteer and to do things. So on the day of the election in 2019, I was actually scouting for people of the African descent to help and mobilize for the election, and to remind people to go out and vote. I was running in and out of the campaign office, trying to get people to go out and to remind people. So after the election, I realized and decided that I don't have to wait until the day of the election before I can start looking for who to talk to or who to mobilize for. Of course, like I said from the beginning, we operate in Canada representative democracy. So what that means is that you got elect people who will serve you. And if you don't elect the right people, and if the wrong people are elected by our inactivity or passiveness, then we'll have to grapple with or live with whatever policy that they will introduce, and at the same time, the laws. So it is important as enlightened community and well-educated community members that we get involved and volunteer in electing those that we feel can, or that we know, not just feel, that we know can serve us, represent our interest. So after this election, like I said, I decided I would just have to start getting people, prompting our people to start getting involved. So before then, I made some consultations with some leaders of thought in the area, some community people, leaders who have also served the community in the past. So I consulted with a lot of people, but I'm just going to mention some few names here. I consulted with Dr. Sondo Lukoju, Pastor T.J. Okunu, Dr. Kwabena Osebosu, Mr. Peter Kroma, Dr. Mike Eze, and other people. And I shared this idea, which they welcomed it quite and said it was quite innovative and something that needed to have been done. So after the election, also one of my friends and the president of the Guinea community called me, and he wanted us to go and congratulate the winner of the riding election, or the constituency election, which was Honorable MP Terry Duguid of the Liberal Party, who won that riding. So we wanted to, he wanted us to go and congratulate him and align, identify with him. Though he has been in our community helping, so we wanted to show also the solidarity, since he's now the MP to still represent the riding. So Enoch and I had several meetings, and we realized, decided that instead of two of us going alone, that we have to go with some other African community leaders and other people to congratulate Terry Duguid, because a young African had designed a very wonderful, nice portrait that you can see of our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. So we decided to go to present that in the company of other other friends and colleagues. So again, that meeting, that single step and meeting kind of energized us, and a lot of people began to align to this dream and this vision. So where is the turning point? What is the turning point? And I want to talk about our first inaugural meeting of the Africans in Winnipeg South, even before the name we've gone through a lot of adjusting of the name and trying to reflect what's what reflect the reality and where the diversity of where we live and our people. So after this meeting with Enoch, I had several other meetings, and then reached out to all the presidents of the African communities in Winnipeg South, the Ghanaian community, the Sierra Leone community, all the African community leaders that are living in Winnipeg South. We reached out to them, and we had a meeting in Tim Hortons on Pembina Highway to begin to explore what we needed to do. So on 20th of February 2020, we had our first inaugural meeting at the Pembina Library, at the Winnipeg Library on Pembina Highway. And we had a very large turnout. Quite a lot of people came out, more than 50 people Africans attended that meeting, and it was really, really exciting. Everybody was very happy that we can come together in this way to begin to discuss political engagement and involvement. Most of the people that were there, some of them had also run political offices before, but they didn't get the needed support because our people usually are not actively involved, both in door knocking and volunteering. I mean, as a group. Some people who are here, some individuals who are here have done that on their own, but that block and collectivity, community effort hasn't actually been there. So every attendee at that meeting was really excited, and they said, wow, this is something that we needed to have done years ago. But for me, I said, there's a saying in African, an African proverb that said, it doesn't matter whenever somebody gets up, that's his morning. So it doesn't matter how late or what matters is for us to actually realize that we needed to do something and get committed to it. And then we could catch up as well if we put effort. So at this point, I want to talk about the vision of the Africans in Winnipeg South. So what is the vision? What do we intend to achieve, or what are we looking at? So on the streets, most white people, if you would like to call that. For me, I'm also a little bit, I choose those connotations, because it can actually spell division and at the same time racism sometimes when you categorize people. But these are some of the things that we are giving to. So I'll probably use that for now. So many people view Africans, Blacks, as just African. Sometimes there's no single division. Sometimes when they see you, oh, you're from Africa. I was asked in Germany one time, a student actually in my class asked me, what do people eat in Africa? Do you have rice? And I was like, okay, no, we don't have rice, and we eat sand. And so there's this connotation, there's this misconception, misperception, and every Black person you see is an African. And they think that Africa is just a small country, but Africa is huge with diversity and with lots to orphan. And all across the globe, in fact, I was watching a documentary yesterday on the TV, on the YouTube, and you begin to see that in many countries of the world, you see Africans being part of either the early settlers, even in China, some monarchs that you had in China, from what I watched, Africans, even in UK and all. And of course, we know about the slave trade, how Africans helped in building the African labels used to build where we call developed countries today, and they're still contributing in some ways. So there's no difference to the ordinary person. Once they see you that you're Black, you're African. And so Enoch and I and the other colleagues began to think that, well, since they see, we are seen as Africans, so why don't we actually operate as a unit, as a team, rather than individuals that then divide us and all that. So in many places, or at many times, we are stereotyped. We are marginalized, because we know that, but here, and also confronted with systemic racisms in many cases also. It's also important that Africans should begin to see themselves the way that they are being seen by the outsiders, from the other perspective, that is to say, unified, putting aside our individual differences. So the vision of the Africans in Winnipeg South, therefore, is to promote true neighborhoodness or neighborliness by setting aside our perceived or obvious differences that has often divided us and prevented us from harnessing our collective, numerical, curative, and intellectual assets. So we want to set those things aside and come together. There's no society, there's no community that you don't have disagreement. Of course, that's what makes us who we are, the diversity of views and opinion. But then when it comes to issues that can promote collective gain, that can promote a community good and not just individual good, then we should, it's important that we should unite. So we can achieve our vision by working together. And our slogan in Africans de Winnipeg Sud is, well, Ubuntu, the song has been played, but our own slogan is that there is strength in unified number. There is strength in unified number. So we can achieve our visions through political advocacy, volunteering, engagement, enlightenment, sensitization, and fundraising, as well as participate in political discussions and civic engagement. We also can achieve our vision through promoting good neighborliness, active volunteering in community projects in Winnipeg South especially, promoting and supporting any activities in Winnipeg South that are intended for the peace and development of the area, and then supporting one another, especially people of African descent. Also, we want to encourage and support Africans who are entrepreneurs or who are doing business, especially in Winnipeg South, and of course, expanding, and then support other African community organizations. We also want to achieve our dream through networking and collaborating with other organizations which share the interest to promote democratic process and civic responsibilities. And also supporting other political allies, those who have shown interest to represent us and to serve us as a unique and as a unique group with a unique need as well. So we also want to actively promote any activity or events that will enhance our visibility and our relevancy in Winnipeg South. We want to lend our voices and opinions on social and economic issues in Winnipeg, in Manitoba, and beyond as well. We want to engage in organizing workshops, seminars, town hall meetings, and sensitizations to promote civic responsibility and democratic process. So those are some of the things that we want to do and we've been doing. So why is the name Africans in Winnipeg South? So you will notice that we have capital letter C, Africans or African, not like Mexican or Mexican, but Africans. So when we had our initial meeting and the subsequent Zoom meeting consultations and all that with people who have, elders, and wanted to also integrate the youth, because we found out that our youth sometimes, they want to do their stuff and all that. We understand that, but we want to see how we can integrate the youth so that we can pass on the baton to them so that they can be part of what we're doing at the same time. So we realize that if we just say African, just Africans in Winnipeg South, then it's not all inclusive. So the cans, like Canada, African Canadian. But at the same time, we didn't want to sound like the usual connotation of African American and stuff like that. We wanted to move a little bit away from that, but we want to have a unique sense of belonging, who we are, but at the same time contributing and integrating into this the place we call and know that is our home and the home of our children and our children. So we want to be part of the building block. Of course, we have been doing that. Like I said, even when we talk about slave trade, labor in Canada, even before Canada is known as a country or Canada, Blacks or Africans have contributed a lot. And individually too, we have lots of Africans who are excelling in several areas and doing tremendous work in the country and beyond. But we want to begin to get involved in the political economy as well, like supporting politicians so that they can actually begin to look on our side to find out what are our peculiar needs, what are the best ways that they can represent us in a better way. So the name is a little bit innovative and all-inclusive and a little bit broader. So again, we want to, our members, membership for Africans in Winnipeg South is limited to Winnipeg South only. So we are not replacing any, or we're not trying to replace any organization. We're not trying to duplicate the activities of other organizations. And we just want to build a model that probably can be replicated in other areas of the city. So we want to build a model that other people can copy. We want to start small and then master the tough before we can bite more. So the activities or the Africans de Winnipeg South organization association is located and operated in Winnipeg South only for now. So again, it is mainly established to promote and expand political inclusiveness, representation, advocacy, involvement among Africans. And we want to build an economically vibrant African community in Winnipeg South that can also be seen as a voting bloc. We are working in curating platforms where we and our generations can desire to get involved politically in our new home. It is not for a particular political organization. So African in Winnipeg South is not for any political party, no. So politicians from different political parties have the opportunity to network with us, connect with us, share with us how they can best serve us and represent us in this riding, as we know, and at the same time convince us why we need to and we should vote for them. So what are the activities of Africans in Winnipeg South? We all know that the COVID-19 has kind of slowed down a lot of outdoor activities, so we didn't get to do much. We had our first meeting, and then subsequently we had a Zoom meeting. So, but also the structure of Africans in Winnipeg South is not to have monthly meetings, not to have everyday meeting or kind of things, like, because we all have our individual community associations that does all those cultural stuff and all that. The goal here is political advocacy, engagement, and involvement. So we don't want to duplicate or replicate what other community associations are doing. And members of this association, like I said, coordinators are the president of African community associations that are living in Winnipeg South. And we have an ACOMI, which is African Community of Manitoba Incorporated. The president and the leaders are there. So the activities so far, due to the limitations of the made by the COVID-19, most of our outdoor activities has been put on hold. But our members have also participated in tree planting campaign, which was initiated by Councillor Janice Lutz. And so the goal here is to increase the green infrastructure. So like I said, initially, we want to be actively involved in any activities that promote healthy community. We want to volunteer in a community event and all that. So our members have volunteered in tree planting. We have also distributed trees to our members because we want to increase the green infrastructure. We have facilitated and organized several meetings between the executives of International Hope and also the elected MPs and MLAs. So International Hope Canada is an organization, not profit organization, that has donated more than 130 containers of medical supply to different developing countries. I see that organization as doing a very unique, wonderful job, because not only that they are supplying these medical supplies to Africa, and to other countries that that need them, but they're also taking some of the items that would have ended up in landfills to other countries. So they are helping to reduce the effect of environmental clogging or in our city. And at the same time, most of the people who volunteer in this organization, they are retired nurses and other senior citizens who use this channel to still keep themselves active and engaged, and so that they don't just stay redundant and get sick. So I see that they're doing three unique things, and we decided when they had a problem with, they still have the problem with location. So started to consult with some elected MPs and MLAs to see if they can assist them to get a location, a permanent location warehouse. Up until now, that problem have not been solved, and I think part of that's what also motivating me. I'll talk about that in later on. So what is our mission? What is the mission of Africans in Winnipeg South? You may want to know. So Our mission is to ensure active engagement with political leaders in Manitoba, Winnipeg, and beyond, and especially in Winnipeg South, at the federal, provincial, and city levels as well. We also want to volunteer in political events at all levels through active door knocking, distribution of literature, joining campaign trails, fundraising, other activities that will increase visibility and at the same time viability. So we want to volunteer in community work in Winnipeg South and to seek out opportunities for Africans in Winnipeg South to become board members wherever there is an opportunity, something that we haven't seen our members occupying those, because again, since we don't get involved so much, so they usually say that if you are not on the table, you are in the menu. And another African proverb says that if you are not there, your yam always get burned by the side of the fire. So we want to be involved. Again, also we want to ensure that the interests and needs of the Africans living in Winnipeg South specifically are represented by our elected politicians, and to participate in political discussions, advocacy, and civic engagement, to encourage our members to participate in political leadership activities, and at the same time to increase our membership. We also want to encourage more Africans to live in the Winnipeg South. It's a very vibrant neighborhood, good environment. We have the schools there, recreation centers and all that. And we'll be having more community recreation centers coming up next year. So what are the activities so far? So as a political advocacy association, we have made great accomplishment within the within the short period that we have been in existence. So during the wake of the pandemic, we put out a sign in the buses in collaboration with Councillor Janice Lutz again, that shows, or that in which we thank and appreciate all frontline workers, and to support them and to show solidarity, because they put their life on the line, not only their life, also the life of their family members. Most of our members are working in the healthcare sector, and it was really, I mean, at the early stage of the pandemic, it was really, really a very precarious situation. People don't even know what they're going to get into coming back to the whole house and all that. So we put out this sign in collaboration with their Councillor Janice to support and to show solidarity, even why we were praying for them as well. Then on November 15th, 2020, we also contacted the office of the Manitoba Education Ministry with the goal to have a town hall meeting with the Minister of Education to discuss education diversity and inclusiveness with respect to Indigenous peoples and people of visible minority like us. Again, we wanted to do this because we realized that we are in so many areas, our visible minorities and Indigenous people and Africans are really not being served in the education sector. So we reached out to the Minister of Education to have a meeting and to organize a town hall meeting. On Monday, December 21st, we held a Zoom meeting with Mr. Tony Tavares, who is the consultant at diversity education and international language. And then Diana Turner, who is also the acting coordinator at the Minister of Education. Unfortunately, the Minister of Education was too busy, so to say, to have that town hall meeting with us. So, and this was just before the EU-federal and poorly conceived Manitoba Education Bill 64. We started gathering to get our dust subsequently. So consequently, we have held meeting with the following honorable members to introduce our group to them, and also to explore how we can collaborate for mutual benefit and how they can represent us. And so we have met with, sorry, Janella, yes, not there. No, not yet. Go up again. Go up. Go up. All right. Okay. So yeah, we had consultation meeting and with all the elected members of parliament and all the, both in our riding and outside our riding, and again just to increase visibility and at the same time to introduce our group to them. So we have met with the Honorable MP Terry Dogood, who represent Winnipeg South, And then MP Kevin Lamorin, who represented Winnipeg North. We had a meeting with Melanie Maha, who was the Conservative Party candidate in the 2019 and 2020 election. Sorry, 2021 election. We had a meeting with her as well. Because like I said in the beginning, the Africans de Winnipeg Sud is an open platform for every politicians to come and tell us how they can better serve us and represent our own unique needs as in a multicultural or in a mosaic community and province and city. We also had a meeting with MLA Duga Lamont, who is the leader of the Manitoba Liberal Party, and then MLA John Gerard, who also is the MLA for Waverley riding. And we had a meeting with Dr. John Gerard as well, who is the MLA for River Heights, and Sarah Gulamad, MLA for Richmond, and of course, Councillor Marcus Chambers, the Deputy Mayor of the City of Winnipeg, and Councillor Janice Lutz, who have, like I've said, we collaborated with her in tree planting and also giving out trees to some of our members. What about the COVID-19 town hall meeting? So some of the activities, generally you can scroll down now. So we have had several town hall meetings. The first significant one was the COVID-19 town hall meeting. So as more uncertainties and misinformation continue to swell around the COVID-19, there's so much information, so much news, fake news, and people are so scared and etc. And so since we also have most of our members that are working in the healthcare sector and in the medical, and also we have our members who are experts in infectious disease, in vaccine, and all that. So we decided to organize a town hall meeting to help us really understand, and because at that time the vaccine was being rolled out and people were having mixed feelings as what to do. So the theme of the town hall meeting was the COVID-19 pandemic and vaccines. What do we know about governments and scientists' intentions and response? In that town hall meeting, which was also well attended, we had a guest speakers, the following Dr. Jim Strong, who is a senior research scientist at the National Microbiology Lab, and then an assistant professor, Department of Medical Microbiology, University of Manitoba. We also had one of our members, Professor Jude Uzona, who is a Manitoba Health Research Chair and Professor of Medical Microbiology and Immunology at the University of Manitoba. We had another colleague, Dr. Divine Akumo, all the way from Germany, who is a medical writer and project manager, Center for Epidemiology and Health Research in Berlin, Germany. So the town hall meeting was really well attended, and we were happy. At the end of the day, a lot of people decided and showed interest to go ahead and take the vaccine, because there was this anxiety, fear, and uncertainty around the vaccine and all that. And most of us that they want to take the vaccine, there are some friends who are so, no, this is we are all alive. We have not all died, and so. I thank our members, and I thank those who presented during that town hall meeting. It was really, it made impact. So the other meeting activity that we had was the Bill 64 town hall meeting. So we regard education as one of the tools to bridge inequality gap, be it gender inequality or other socioeconomic inequality. Education is very, very important. And most of our members, a lot of our members are educated, and they're also working in the education sector as well. So, so another fact to mention, which I did before, is that the University of Manitoba is also located in the area in Winnipeg South. So education is very key, important to us. And it's also a crucial component of the economy. And it's very important for job creation, for development, economic development. We regard education as very, very important. So we began to notice a lot of signs on the lawn with different inscriptions. Some of them say "Kill this 64." slam the door on Bill 64, say no to Bill 64, fight Bill 64, stop Bill 64, and all that. And we became curious because at that time, the Minister of Education, whom we had wanted to have a town hall meeting just to discuss inclusiveness and diversity in education, and also the issues that affect visible minorities, and who did not attend that or make that town hall meeting possible. So they put up the Minister of Education put up a kind of debunking this what they say that misinformation against Bill 64, but on some of the launch signs were also put up by the Manitoba School Teachers Association, Manitoba School Board Association, and other organizations who and a lot of other people have also discussed that the Bill 64 was really not appropriate or was ill-conceived. So we decided again to have a town hall meeting and with all the stakeholders to see, to get, just like we did for the COVID-19 vaccine, to get the right information so that our people can make informed decisions. So we also decided to do a town hall meeting around the Bill 64 because we wanted to hear more. However, when we sent several letters and communications and all that, and we're very happy that the Minister of, the Manitoba School Teachers Association President and the Manitoba School Boards Association President, they were very happy that we reached out to them, and they said, in fact, it was the President of the Manitoba Teachers Society who suggested that we should invite both all the other political parties to make it neutral so that it's apolitical, of course. And then we send out letters to all the political parties, send out to invite the Manitoba School Board Association, etc. And characteristically to the Minister of Education and the PC party did not honor that invitation. We contacted him several times, made several phone calls, sent emails, and they didn't show up in that meeting. What they told us that if we want to know more about Bill 64, that we should then write or kind of so there was that kind of barrier to help us to understand and make decision and to decide what to do. So. But on the day of the meeting, which is August 20th, we had James Bedford, the president of the Manitoba Teachers Society. We had George Brannan, the acting director, Canadian Center for Policy Alternatives, Manitoba chapter. And then we have Nello Altomere, who is MLA for Transcona. That's the NDP MLA, and he is their education critics. We also had Alan Campbell, the president of the Manitoba School Boards Association, and of course, the leader of the Manitoba Liberal Party, Dougal Lamont, who also spoke. And that town hall meeting was really well attended. And I want to say kudos again to our members and to all those who participated, and to all Manitobans and Winnipeggers who really stood against that Bill 64, because we realized that it was going to hurt not only indigenous people, but people of visible minority, and at the same time, people with health needs. And whether it is by stroke of pen or luck or whatever, after our town hall meeting, after the last that town hall meeting, the Bill 64 was scrapped by the education minister and by the PC government. So the other last town hall meeting that we had was the all candidate town hall meeting during the election. So again, we reached out to all the candidates who were vying for elective positions to represent us at the federal election. We wanted to hear from them how and why we should support them, and why they should represent us. So we reached out to all the candidates. We reached out to Terry Duguid, who is the NDP candidate, and Greg, the Green Party candidate, and Byron, the People's Conservative Party candidate. Of course, the Melanie Maha, the Conservative Party candidate also, who promised that she was going to be there and was excited and looked forward to participating. But incidentally, also characteristically, at the end of the, towards 2 days or 3 days to the meeting, she sent her regret that she was not going to be there. She was focused on the campaign. So we were very happy with the outcome, and all the candidates who participated were very happy. and they praised us for doing that. Again, this is part of our vision to do civic engagement. So we are planning some other town hall meetings. We are planning some other engagement, especially to discuss indigenous issues. We have lots of indigenous community living in our riding in Winnipeg South. We also want to discuss issues about the strike action that is going on now at the University of Manitoba by the faculty members. We also want to look at issues that are surrounding the nurses as well, because like I said, most of our people are also in the healthcare sector. So again, what are the outlook? What are the things that we are kind of looking forward to? African continues to contribute significantly to the economic development and stability of this great country. So in many professional and non-professional fields, Africans continue to make positive impact. I've just mentioned the issue of the slave labor that helped fuel economic development, both here in Canada and other parts of the developed world. And so we also have had many Africans who have been contributing significantly and tremendously to the growth, economic growth, job, and other areas, academically, medically, and other professions in Winnipeg, in Winnipeg South, in Manitoba, in Canada, and beyond. However, we want to begin to also get involved in the political economy. So for instance, we have I just want to mention one person I spoke recently, Jim Ogunaike, who for 20 years have been organizing job fair for everybody, not just Africans, but a lot of people have benefited from that. Again, many Africans have received several awards for excellent community service, but in the political economy, we are really lagging behind. Though recently we saw the election of an African in the name of Uzoma Sagra, who was elected as MLA here in Manitoba. But we can do really more. We can do more in this respect, because we have been excelling in other areas, so we can also do more. So our inactive involvement in the political economy is responsible for not having more Africans serve in the elected positions. So I want to just give a call for action at this moment. So more Africans have started showing interest in venturing into the political space by putting their names to run for political positions or offices. But we really need to support them. We need to do fundraising. We need to volunteer. We need to canvass. We need to distribute literatures, knock on doors when it is convenient, and when it is not convenient, it's a sacrifice. And when we do this, we will begin to see the more we see people who looks like us in other areas, in every area, the more we motivate our children also to think of doing so. You can see in the field of sports as well, we have many Africans who are doing lots of exploit and all that. So, but we really also want to get involved. At the last federal election, we had one of an African, Mr. Shola Abola, who ran for the St. Vita and St. Boniface riding under the Conservative Party. So an African proverb also said that, I think I've mentioned that before, that if you are not there, your yam gets burned by the side of the fire. And put the other way, said that if you're not on the table, then you're on the menu. So we also need to support other politicians who are our allies, who have shown interest to work with us, to represent us. Not just only, most of the things that we see is people coming to attend our event, Independence Day celebration. Yeah, they buy a table, bring greetings, and buy tickets, and that's it. Right, so those are not representation, those are not visibility, those are not popularity. People who come to our event and buy ticket, and then no, we want to begin to see what can you do. There are specific needs that Africans that have, and we want to begin to see those things discussed. And like I said, we have had several town hall meetings and getting involved and getting. So we need to support other people, other political, candidates who have shown genuine interest to represent us here. We can make Winnipeg South an envy of other neighborhoods if we can make genuine commitment through political advocacy, engagement, and other civic responsibilities. So I want to say that this is possible, this is doable. It's not rocket science, as they would usually say. All that we need do is get out. All that we need do is to get involved. All that we need do is get engaged. All that we need to do is participate, to come out, volunteer, door knock, and all that. So at this point, I really want to sincerely thank everybody who have been listening and watching from across the world. And I want to sincerely thank once again Justin, the Chief Executive Officer of JOMA Consulting, for this great opportunity and this great privilege. I want to thank Janela sincerely. I want to appreciate you for making this possible. And for those who logged on online, I also want to thank you. And I look forward for more engagement. I look forward for more consultation. I look forward for more activities. And my name is, again, is Uche Nwankwo, and I am your Manitoba Liberal Party candidate for Waverley in Winnipeg South. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Uche, for this very detailed presentation about what is the Africans in Winnipeg South, how we started, and the different achievement that you've been doing and what you are looking forward. So thank you for doing that. And especially, like you mentioned, representation is very important. And I think we all, African, been in those kind of conversations, like Africa is a country. But as the idea is there is always to be united. And as we say in French, l'union fait la force, as you said, there is strength in unified numbers. So that is what you're doing. And thank you for really taking the time actually to give us this information and using our platform as well so that everybody can be aware of the work that you're doing. And also appreciate that as an African, where I'm coming from, it's always good to see that we are still keeping that, because I believe like in Africa, we still have this sense of community. And for us leaving the motherland and coming to a new country, we still try to keep that unity wherever we go, and we continue to encourage you and your team to really keep it up, the great work that you mentioned as well. And for those that are just joining, thank you for joining as well. So I'm going to do like a brief, when I say brief, it's really brief in like few words in French for probably those that are watching and might probably would like to have some some information in French. Donc, pour ceux qui viennent peut-être d'arriver ou pour ceux qui n'ont pas trop bien compris en anglais, donc ici, nous avons le groupe Africains in Winnipeg Sud. Donc, c'est vraiment la raison pour laquelle il y a le C, c'est parce que, bon, on est au Canada, donc c'est aussi bien de mentionner que on est des Africains, mais aussi on veut inclure tout le monde. Donc, c'est vraiment pour continuer à promouvoir des quartiers, surtout dans le sud de Winnipeg. Donc, et continuer de promouvoir aussi l'engagement des Africains dans l'économie démocratique. Donc, aussi, nous tenons à préciser et à tenir compte que nous sommes dans le territoire du traité numéro 1, donc qui appartient aux Premières Nations. Donc, c'est toujours, on essaie toujours de les mettre au devant parce que ce sont des terres qui leur appartiennent, et nous leur remercions pour de nous donner, de pouvoir nous donner accès à ces territoires, et connaissant aussi l'histoire de comment ils ont été traités. C'est toujours nécessaire et primordial de toujours mentionner dans le territoire dans lequel nous sommes. Et comme M. Uche l'a annoncé, comment est-ce qu'il a commencé? C'est depuis l'élection fédérale de 2019. Donc, le Sud de Winnipeg a quand même eu un appel assez proche. Donc, c'est de là qu'ils ont décidé. Donc, bon, ils n'ont pas attendu l'élection, bien entendu. Ils se sont lancés depuis le début pour pouvoir créer des communautés ou des comités, en fait, qui continuent d'encourager les communautés africaines, mais aussi de pouvoir, comment dire, improve. Sometimes I have a word in French and forget in English, and sometimes I have a word in English and forget in French, mais de vraiment améliorer le côté du sud de Winnipeg. Donc, il y a plusieurs personnes qui sont ont été engagés, qui sont engagés, pas qui sont toujours engagés avec M. Otier dans cette initiative. Et aussi, nous voulons mentionner que même si on parle du Sud de Winnipeg, le Sud de Winnipeg, c'est juste un modèle. Donc, c'est un modèle que n'importe quelle communauté peuvent aussi utiliser dans leur région. Donc, beaucoup vont demander pourquoi juste le Sud de Winnipeg. Bon, ça, c'est là où ils sont, mais c'est un modèle c'est avec cette partie qui veut commencer à créer un modèle, et de là, d'autres régions aussi peuvent pouvoir s'en inspirer. Donc, en fait, leur vision, c'est de vraiment promouvoir des bons, comment je vais dire, des bons voisinages, c'est-à-dire qu'on puisse être à un niveau qu'on mette de côté nos différences, des différences qui nous ont toujours divisés, mais au contraire que nous puissions toujours nous réunir, unir nos créativités, nos compétences intellectuelles. Et comme leur slogan le dit, l'union fait la force. Et ça, c'est toujours, c'est là où que nous sommes de plus en plus, que nous pouvons faire comment je vais dire, nous pouvons faire de merveilleuses choses quand nous sommes unis. Donc, ils ont plusieurs éléments de comment atteindre cet objectif. Donc, de plaidoyer politique, le bénévolat qui est vraiment très impliqué ici au Canada. Donc, c'est quelque chose qu'ils encouragent, d'encourager et supporter les entrepreneurs africains aussi, surtout dans la région du Sud. Et comme je l'ai dit, c'est vrai, aujourd'hui, ils parlent de la région du Sud, mais c'est juste un modèle que d'autres régions aussi peuvent y avoir. Donc, aussi, ils peuvent aussi vous aider dans ce qui est du networking, c'est-à-dire étendre votre réseau, collaborer avec vous. Donc, supporter aussi des associations politiques qui représentent non seulement les intérêts des Africains, mais aussi les intérêts des aborigènes, des personnes de Première Nation ou des minorités visibles. Aussi encourager des activités et des événements qui continuent de mettre l'emphase sur la visibilité, de pouvoir faire entendre leur voix, leurs opinions, et aussi leurs opinions sur ce qui vient aux problèmes sociaux et économiques, organiser des séances de workshops, des séminaires et des réunions publiques. Donc, comme on l'avait expliqué, le nom Africains, donc on a les Africains, mais on a aussi Cans comme les Canadiens, parce que nous sommes ici au Canada, donc c'est un peu de là qu'ils ont tenu leur nom. Donc, leur mission, c'est vraiment d'être engagés de manière active avec les leaders politiques, d'être volontaire, bénévole dans des événements politiques à tous les niveaux, aussi être volontaire dans n'importe quel service communautaire dans le sud de Winnipeg, et aussi continuer à chercher des opportunités pour les Africains et faire en sorte que l'intérêt et les besoins des Africains sont toujours, comment dire, que ce soit toujours représenté par tous ceux qu'ils veulent, par ceux qui se représentent souvent dans les élections. Donc, ça, c'est un peu ce qu'ils veulent faire. Donc, les différentes activités qu'ils ont pu faire. C'est vrai qu'avec COVID, il y a certaines activités qui n'ont pas pu, comment dire, qui n'ont pas pu, pas continuer, mais qui n'ont pas fait autant qu'avant. Donc, c'est-à-dire comme la plantation des arbres ou d'autres éléments qu'ils ont pu faire. Mais ils ont pu avoir des aides comme International Hope, qui est une organisation à but non lucratif, qui ont aussi aidé dans la contribution des plantations des arbres pour créer un environnement sain dans le sud de Winnipeg. Et ils ont aussi pu organiser certaines réunions publiques qu'on appelle en anglais town hall meeting, mais aussi pendant la saison de COVID-19, ils ont aussi montré leur support aux travailleurs de première ligne dans tout ce parce qu'on doit quand même reconnaître le travail qu'ils ont pu faire, comment ils ont tenu jusqu'à date. Donc ici, on voit un exemple de solidarité qu'ils ont montré aux travailleurs de première ligne. Et pour les différentes réunions publiques qu'ils ont pu organiser, une de celles, c'est de COVID-19, où ils ont discuté un peu des vaccins. Je sais que pour certains, c'était encore ambigu. Tout le monde n'était pas sûr. Donc, c'est la raison pour laquelle ils ont créé cette réunion publique de quelles sont les intentions et les réponses du gouvernement par rapport à ça. Une autre réunion publique était sur le projet de loi 64, qui est plus sur l'éducation. Un autre, c'était aussi une réunion publique avec tous les candidats. Donc, ils ont eu à organiser plein de réunions publiques jusqu'à date, et ils continuent d'aller de l'avant, donc toujours être impliqués, de faire du volontariat, des collectes de fonds, supporter les gens, bon, surtout la communauté africaine, ou tous ceux qui auront besoin de leur aide. Donc, c'est vraiment ça, en fait, leur but. Et comme il a mentionné encore, et je le refais, ce n'est pas parce qu'on a parlé de Winnipeg South, donc c'est juste un modèle que n'importe quelle région peut aussi prendre comme inspiration. Donc, voilà, pour ceux aussi qui voudraient avoir les contacts de M. Uche, donc c'est ici présent, donc vous pouvez toujours le contacter, et il aimerait vraiment entendre de vous. So that was a very brief, short that I was trying to give in French of what you were explaining today. And of course, I encourage everyone to contact Mr. Uche, just in case you would like to know more or you would like to be involved as well. And but before we do finish, we can have a few questions. If there is, I think there's some participants that are here with us today. For those that would like to have questions, you can either write on the chat, or you can also unmute yourself for question. But before that, I also wanted to ask if it's possible to Mr. Uche to maybe, for some of us, we don't know what is South, what is North, what is East. So maybe mention few of the neighborhoods on top of your head that are in Winnipeg South, so that people know exactly what are the communities that are there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Janella. So in Winnipeg South, is well, in a riding, for my own riding, but Winnipeg South includes St. Vital, part of St. Vital, Fort Richmond, Fort White, Waverly West, Waverly, Waverly as well, and then so all the area South Point for my own riding. It is South Point or South Point, Bridgewater Trails, Bridgewater Center, and all the Bridgewater, and also part of Pembina, Bishop Grant in that area, towards Chancellor, and so those are the areas that are included in Winnipeg. I mean in Waverly, but Winnipeg South is have about 6 ridings provincially.
Thank you for precising that. So I would like to give opportunities for anyone that has a question to feel free to unmute your mic or share in the chat if you want, and I can say to Mr. Uche, if anyone has a question. We have Mrs. Zainab that would like to ask a question. Go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. German Consultants. You are always there. And you might know me. My name is Zainab Mansare. I know we are comrades. And thank you for hosting, for doing this part. It's really important. You're trying to join us together. And great thanks to Mr. Uche. And I'm so impressed, and all what you have gone through. I can say all those that you have spoken, you're holding a meeting. This is excellent, excellent. A great job. I'm so proud. I myself, all those people that you have connected, you're gone. As a woman, as a single mother, and myself, I've gone through a lot. This is a good example if there is any possibility as we Africans, I know what, even just now, a phone call I just called. I mean, they called me, I said, no, I mean, important information. Africans, the African continent, it's a continent, but through this one, they don't ever telling you. I've been here for 19 years, next June, make me 19 years. I know what I've gone through. They don't care about your name. They don't care about your last name, your first name. All they care is your color. Where you come from, they don't want to know. Like last night, I just had another conference called Canada Speaks, our ethics. If we push ourselves, just like you said, we join together, these people, but we have sickness. How? And the one person, they will never answer you. They will tell you what will make you happy, you go, but they will never give you what will benefit you. But if we come into this, let me don't go far because I won't stop. But what I want you is, if you help me, the area like Winnipeg South, I will join again. I'm in a different company, organizations, and I created 2 organizations. I know if we could have been joined together, what they sees advantage of me, 100,000 US gold was seized. Nobody ever give answer. I've gone through everywhere. So, but because there is no unity with you, we Africans stay in one place. This is the problem. We are scattered. Me too, I could have even answered here. The way people, the way I work, the way I'm with people. I could have even said, okay, let me stand up as a prime minister. I could have win if together with we Africans, unity, stay in one place. But we are all over, we scattered like millets. So me, I will even say tomorrow or next month, I will join Winnipeg South. We need to come together. We need to unite. We stay in one place. So these people can see us, can hear us. But if we not, even we do everything, like all the members of parliament, I given my story all the time, but nothing they can do because I'm by myself. So this one is very important, this organization, and we located, if we located one place, they can hear us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Right, and me, I'm working towards that to move to Winnipeg South.
All right. Thank you so much, Zainab. And just quickly, when we started, there was this discussion, why don't you spread? Why don't you get everybody? But we, like I said, we resisted that temptation or that urge because we just want to start, at least have a model that we can just bite a little that we can chew. If we stretch ourselves too much, we might also begin to run into problem. So, but what the point that you made is very clear, and that's part of the things that we are doing to encourage. Like, come to Winnipeg South, come and live in Winnipeg South, buy a house there. We have most of our members who are also in real estate. So we want to have a critical mass. We want to have concentration. So that doesn't mean that we all have to live in one place. I mean, people have their choices, but as much as we can to increase our critical mass in that area so that when we call, you know, in Africa, we live community. You are going somewhere, you tell your neighbor, oh, please, can you look after my child? I'll be running late, things like that. But we don't have those here. So, but those are part of other things that we want to do that we're doing. On my street, we have more than 6 or 5 Africans living on my street alone. And we visit each other. We shout hello when they're bringing their kids to the door to school and all that. So basically, you're totally right. So there's strength in unified numbers, and we can only achieve a lot if we are together, but we achieve very little if we are just running individually. And I tell you, a lot of our people are doing tremendous in their field of endeavor, but then collectivity, strength in number is very significant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those words. And I also want to thank Mrs. Zainab for also putting the emphasis on how it's very important to be united. And as we, you know, if the conversation was interesting, I didn't check the time, but so I also want to make sure that those that were here also are able to ask any other questions. So if there's not question from other people in the chat or no, so, and as for those that probably didn't quite see the contact, so I'm sharing again the contact of Mr. Uche for anybody that would like to write it down as well, so that you can always go to him for further question or discussion as well. But in the meantime, I will ask for anyone to say probably the last word, because we don't want to go overboard of the time. So I would like first Mr. Uche to say a few words, and then after I'll ask Mr. Ondo as well to say something before we go to the end of this this show. So Mr. Uche, if you want to say a few words, or what do you want to, the few words that you would like to leave for the audience or the people that are listening today, please go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. And once again, I'm deeply, deeply grateful and appreciative. I have people here who have been mentor and who have supported me, and a lot of people. I'm seeing a great change. A lot of people have reached out to me and called me and told me, yeah, what you're doing, continue, is very significant, is very important. You're not just doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for all of us. And I've received a lot of encouragement, and I'm challenged and I'm excited too. So yeah, we can really go a great length, and our children will be able to be proud that at least we started. They say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. And it doesn't matter, but for us to start and begin to lay those foundations in not just in sand, but in concrete, in rocks that can really stand the test of time. So to be true and to be genuinely and sincerely committed to this, and I believe that we can do it. So I want to thank Justin, Janella. I want to really thank you. I look forward to more engagement. I look forward to coming again on this platform, and I look forward to talking to people. Maybe when I come to your doorstep, please feel free to ask me any question. I'm really, I'm a servant, and I listen to people, and all my life I've dedicated to service. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Uche. And yes, that's the beauty of community, is to always come together and serve other people. So I will now leave it to Mr. Ondo to say a few words before we come to the end.
Okay, thank you. I would like to inform Mr. Uche and everyone there. I don't want to open my video because I'm here as a participant with others. I'm going to speak in French. That's better, and the Vice President of JOMA Consulting can close in English. I will appreciate exactly what I see on my eyes: liberal, conservative, NDP, green. That means you didn't come here for your party, liberal. You are, j'ai oublié, je vais parler en français. Donc, je disais que j'ai beaucoup apprécié le fait qu'il soit venu. Il est du Parti libéral et il a profité pour faire un très grand rapport de ce qu'ils ont eu à accomplir durant toute l'année, depuis 2021 jusqu'à présent. C'est un rapport qui concerne tous les partis politiques qui sont dans leur région, que ce soit le Parti conservateur, le Parti libéral, NDP et Green Party. Et ça, c'est très apprécié. Et nous sommes contents parce que Joama Consulting, l'émission de Ginela, va permettre que les gens puissent suivre ça, non seulement ici à Winnipeg, au Manitoba en général, mais également au Canada. Et nous savons que les gens suivent cette émission à travers le monde. Et comme Ginela vous le dira à la fin, nous allons partager le lien de cette émission afin que tout le public revoie cet événement. Ça a pris plus d'1 heure, mais c'était très important. Et nous voulons remercier M. Uche d'être venu à Joama Consulting à l'émission de Ginela parce que je crois qu'il a été informé par quelqu'un qui lui a dit, mais si vous voulez faire un bon rapport et que tout le monde soit informé, allez-y à l'émission de Ginela, Joama Zoom Hebdo Show, et nous sommes convaincus. Donc, je n'ai pas de questions à poser. C'était juste pour le remercier et de féliciter tous ceux qui ont été présents d'avoir choisi Joama Zoom Hebdo pour cette émission. Thank you for everyone. Thank you. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Ondo. Thank you, Mr. Ondo, again for really supporting us as we always do drama consulting. And we would like to appreciate also what Mr. Uche have done here is that he's not there just to represent a certain political party, but it's really for all of us to come together, whether you're NDP, Green, liberal or conservative. This is the real meaning of community, or the word in the song of Ubuntu, which is I am because you are. So we believe that you were very enriched with this presentation. And for those that probably didn't get the chance to follow all through, don't worry, we will always share the link right after so that you can rewatch it and share with other communities, other Africans that will be probably empowered with this presentation. So thank you for trusting Drama Consulting. And this is what Drama is really to increase visibility of other African entrepreneur or people with vision that always want to serve others. And this is one of our core values. So thank you once again, Mr. Uche, for giving us the time, and for everybody that has been joining and giving him the support. So we hope that you learned a lot today, as for me, I did. Thank you again, and we hope to see you next time. Donc, merci encore à tous ceux qui nous ont joints aujourd'hui, et nous espérons que vous avez appris beaucoup sur l'importance de vraiment rester unis, et aussi de savoir qu'en tant qu'Africains, nous voulons aussi avoir nos visions, voulons faire entendre nos voix. Thank you once again, and I will leave you again with this beautiful song, Umutu, and we will see you next time. Thank you, and have a good day, good week, good evening, depending on when you're joining us from. Thank you, and bye-bye.
We are part of everything, and everything is a part of us. We are human only through the humanity of others. I am because we are. Ubuntu.
A tale is told throughout the sands of time. On sides, bonds and of human rights. as we